Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So Twitter truly is the embodiment of first world problems, where users who don't have any real conflict or strife in their everyday lives go online and create problems out of thin air just so they can complain about them. We've seen this sort of strategy used to label certain words as slurs. We've seen it happen with trap and femboy, and I guess it's no surprise that that logic has been extended to now claim that the term futanari or futa is a slur. So this is the main thread we're going to focus on today. It is a wild ride where an artist came out and claimed that futa is a slur. The thread gets a lot of attention and eventually gets hit with a community note fact check dispelling its misinformation, where the artist then apologizes and then re-uploads the exact same thread again for attention. So you can see the description saying this needs to be discussed. Every time someone starts a thread with that, it probably doesn't need to be discussed. But let's read these actual panels that they shared. So it says, I like the way you draw futanaris. Let's talk about why the term futanari is harmful to the trans community. The term is usually used as a reductive terminology to fetishize and belittle trans people. It is usually reducing trans people to what is in their pants. It also gives you a negative stereotype. This is also the same case for the term trap. They're humans, not another species. Food is a kink. Trans people are more than just their genitals. Just the fact that whether it's fiction or not, people take inspiration and learn from the media we consume. People tend to follow those examples and think it's okay to use it in real life. People who have never met or interacted with a trans person might go off of the things they see in media. And the final image is someone saying it literally means hermaphrodite, where they say terms change, it's a slur now. So like I said, they got a lot of attention. This would eventually get deleted, but before then they got hit with this community note. Now, if you don't know, community notes are probably the best thing that Elon Musk has ever pushed. It's basically a fact check system that adds context and helps dispel misinformation. And in this case, I think they did a great job of providing a correct definition of futanari, saying futanari is the Japanese word for hermaphroditism, and in some cases also androgyny, having no link whatsoever with transgenderism. It is also commonly used to refer to anime/manga pornography involving hermaphrodite characters. It isn't considered a slur. And the funny thing about the community notes is this term, futanari, has been around longer than the trans movement has been mainstream, right? And it's odd to go back and try to claim that this is a slur against trans people now. But their definition is right here, okay? In real life, this term is most akin to a hermaphrodite or intersex because they have both male and female genitals. But the term mostly is used to refer to fictional characters because it's associated with characters that are female and then magically sprout a giant, comedically large schlong, okay? And this whole concept of terms changing, it's a slur now. The only person who changed its definition is this person. They literally created this problem for themselves by calling a non-offensive term a slur. Of course, it's weird and possibly offensive to call a trans person a futa, but it would be offensive because you're mislabeling someone, which doesn't make the term offensive in and of itself. It's like how calling a trans woman a man is offensive, but that doesn't make the term man offensive by itself. And we've seen the same logic applied to trap and femboy, which Twitter users, including this one, have tried to claim are slurs. But this whole concept also, they talk about reducing people to what's in their pants. Remember, we're talking about something largely associated with a fictional porn fetish, okay? But trans people aren't trans because they have both sets of genitals. It's their perceived gender regardless of what physical parts they have. Futa is completely irrelevant in that regard because by definition, it means the character has both sets of genitals. If it doesn't, the character is not a futa, right? This logic has no relevancy to trans people. And isn't this post a little bit offensive in and of itself? Like, isn't it ironic that in the pursuit of trans rights, you reduce someone's identity to their outward appearances by implying that any character that is a woman with a penis or a boy who dresses up as a girl is automatically trans, which is quite literally erasing the existence of the trap characters they're complaining about that this person is, demonizing. It's very, very strange to me. But again, creating problems that don't exist. Trying to claim that Futa is a slur is hardly surprising. We've seen this happen to all those other terms like trap and femboy, and Twitter freaks have tried to hijack these terms before by claiming they're slurs, gaslighting people into believing the malicious definitions, and it's a real problem. And it really reflects a lot of narcissism too. It's like, who are you to claim that a word belonging to a foreign language and culture is now a slur based on your interpretation of it? It's very strange to me, but like I said, this thread would continue with a couple of key updates. So I thought this was an interesting note, and one of the harmful effects of that thread, which, like I said, was deleted, you have artists basically doubting themselves because of this original poster, and making them feel like because they've used and drawn Futa characters before that they're being transphobic. And they're confirming it right here that you can't call them that name and you have to call them trans instead when that's not what those characters are. And eventually they would update by quote retweeting their original post before it was deleted, of course, with a apology. Let's read the apology. My apologies on the last panel. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have put that there, but the whole point of this post is to not call trans people Futa. Calling Futa a slur was a mistake on my end. Terms often evolve and gain new meaning. It might just be a porn term, but is often used to degrade and belittle trans people. Again, my apologies for the misleading post. And of course, they're referring to the last panel where it just says Futa is a slur and terms change, right? So this apology basically doubles down while apologizing. It makes no sense. And in their updated thread, like I said, they would post a new thread with the replies locked, reposting the first 3 images, and still saying trap is a slur. So they didn't even change anything. It's basically the same thread, and they reposted it with the replies locked, so no one could have a discussion in the replies. So obviously you can see the high volume of quotes on it, but it was just, this is so weird. It's like the weirdest hill to die on. An artist creates a problem out of thin air and creates this idea that a word that has never been a slur is all of a sudden a slur because they said so. They get hit with a community notes, which is really embarrassing, and then they get enough backlash that makes them apologize, and then they double down and repost the thread with virtually all the same information and the same logic backing it all up. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, some real first world problems here, and I think this person needs to stop taking the whole concept of terms like Futa, femboy, and trap being slurs a little less seriously. And yeah, weird hill to die on, but are we really surprised people would do this? Not really. But that's going to do it for this video. Please let me know all your thoughts about this riveting topic today in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.